Anything else, Ms. Cotton?
All right, I got a draft for 5-cent gasoline and diesel tax that will be used exclusively on road repairs. And here's the draft.
You'd like to add this to the agenda to be voted on, and then then we'd have to take it to our legislators and see about advertising and pass it to the
Let's go
legislators.
through the process here, right?
Okay?
Okay. And, I don't know if we need to do it this meeting or do it in the Monday night meeting, but I'd like to talk about the wind turbines.
Okay, go right ahead.
We sort of got 3 options, or 4 options. We can either do nothing, we can do some kind of referendum or vote, just commission to close the road, not close the road. Or we got a deal that's like, I got one right here, it's like the Cherokee County resolution that they passed the bill. And I've got one that's modified for the setback and modified for the decibels on the sound. I'd just like for us to, discuss this and see if we come to some kind of understanding and sort of put it to bed, whether we're gonna do something or we're not gonna do something, or.
Well, I think you got 3 different resolutions, right?
Yes.
Do you want to add all 3 of those? I think this has been done before, but if you want to add the resolutions and let the commission vote on them?
Okay, we need to discuss them tonight, or we'll discuss them
I
Monday?
mean, if there's something you want to add, and you talk to the commissioners, if they're happy with adding it, let's add it to, and then vote in what direction.
What are the three? You said one is not.
One is just like Cherokee County passed a law.
Okay.
One is exactly like that, it's substitute Cleburne County for Cherokee County. The other one has a setback of 1¼ mile that's been changed, and the decimals have been changed on the sound. And other than that, it's exactly like a Cherokee deal. And then the other one is, we can just vote on whether we're gonna close the road or we're not gonna close the road, which that's something that can be changed every month, so. Or we'll just not do anything. But I mean, I think we need to discuss it. I mean, we have enough of our citizens that are interested in it that we need to do something. And I mean, there are more options than that, I'm sure, but that's pretty much what I've come up with.
The resolution one resolution would be asking our legislators, right,
Yeah.
to give us a local act.
Well, actually, 2 of them with it.
Okay. And one, what's one different than the other as far as setbacks and?
It's just a modification of setbacks and the decimals on the sign.
What's the difference in this one in Cherokee County? You know, as far
One
as
is
setbacks?
identical, and the other one's just a 1.25 setback and a drop in the decimals.
Okay. Do you know how much in the decibels? And this setback in the Cherokee, what's the setback?
Right here, this is exactly like Cherokee County, 2,500 feet, 40 decibels.
Okay.
And this right here is 38 in the daytime, 28 at night, and a setback of 1.25 miles.
Okay.
But other than that, they're identical.
They're identical, but this one is tougher as far as setbacks
This,
and decibels, keeping it lower, right?
yes, this one has already went through the legislature.
Which resolution would you like to put forth? You're the commissioner that's presenting these.
I want a discussion on that.
Okay.
Whether we do it tonight or we do it
You know,
Monday.
if I had my choice, I would probably go with the one that Cherokee County had. I don't know about.
I mean, that one has already passed the legislature, or we could do something on the road, or we could do nothing, I mean, it's.
All right, so he likes the one that Cherokee County has in place. What about you?
I'm gonna stick to the one in Cherokee County due to the fact it's already went through the legislation, and I think it will be less complication.
All right, so you want to add that one when you're done?
Yeah.
Mr. Brooks? Yeah,
I need to discuss that more, look into that more, really, for it.
but we have enough to put it on the agenda to be looked at by, if we pass this, then we'll be asking our legislators to pass this. I just want everybody to understand. And then we will have to, we'll be advertising that. Just so everybody's understanding, that's your direction. And this is the one that Cherokee County has in place now as a local app. Okay.
Exactly right.
Now, going back to the road, you want to put a resolution on whether or not to close the road? I don't know that you can, Shannon, there's a new law, but it all comes down to saying you can't close the road, but there's the process of how to go about closing the road, right?
Yeah, I figure we'll be covering that in next ACEA classes, because we've not covered those particularly very thoroughly since it was changed last legislative session. I think there was some conflicts in there within, so I think Mary, over last fall, was working on that stuff for us. So there may be some clarification. The old system, I was good with it. I knew it was like dominoes falling. You remember we had closed, 8 or 10 different sections of roads or roads.
Well, those are the
Yeah, these other changes were subtle, but still there were changes, so.
But as far as other residents living on that road, that we haven't closed any roads where other residents had to get home, correct? Where they couldn't get to their house?
Well, some of them they won't be closed.
I know, but I mean, that just takes the obligation away from the county. But if you got somebody that lives on that road that don't want it closed, would it be in the lawsuit, wouldn't it?
No, the law in the past states that it's in the best interest of the public. So, there can be a disagreement about what 4 residents say and that one resident. It could be that the one resident's just not particularly happy about the road being closed. We'll need to do a little more research on this before we get very much in depth, because
I just want to discussion.
Since everybody spoke, could I say, as far as this particular instance, the wind representative that came to my parents' house, he informed them that the road was going to be closed and gated. Privatize the road, and the road would be gated, so we would have to go through their gate to get to our house. So how does that's a little different scenario than what you're talking about. You're talking about closing a road for a business, to privatize for a business, and then everybody who lives on that road has to go through that business's gate to get to their house. That's a little different, is it not?
Closing the road is just closing the road. That's the county backing off of maintenance, and then it reverts to the adjoining landowner. So after that, it's private call as far as what that land is used for.
Was there right of ways and deeds for that road?
More than likely, no. It's prescriptive easement, just like I was saying a moment
So
ago.
then the person that's closest to the main highway owns the road or can block it? That's not right.
Usually the adjoining landowner. But like let's just say that Judge Robertson and Commissioner Hendricks own land in front of me, and I'm at the end of a dead-end dirt road, and that dead-end dirt road closes. By law, they still have to let me have my easement to get in and out of my land, even though they may decide to put a gate up to keep people from coming up to their house and pilfering and dumping trash and doing whatever that they don't like going on their road. After it's closed, they can deny the public access because it's not a public road anymore. But they still have to either get me a key or let me use the road or whatever, if that's how I've been ingress and regress over the years. So they can't just let me not be able to get to my house.
So having the trash truck and the mail and.
It backs off to the public road usually, but like I tell people, we don't determine where the mailman goes. And I imagine the mailman that Mr. Trotter was talking about, there's private roads out there that the mail people use. That's their discretion. We don't tell them where to deliver mail. So that's for the size of the trash truck, the postmaster, the mail delivery person. They're in weight restricted bridges, and you get all kinds of things that determine where the routes, may go and start and stop and all that kind of stuff.
Question, why is this even an issue before the commission now? Nobody's made a request one way or the other to close the road. The road's open. Nobody's made a request to close the road until such time as somebody does come forward and ask that the road closed and explains what the provisions are for any gating, where it might be closed, where it might not, what to do with garbage, what to do with mail, school buses or anything else. Why is it even an issue now? Nobody's asked you to close the road.
Yeah, I just want to open up the dialogue so everybody can talk and come up with some kind of decision.
Yeah, but we're talking about a rumor. You know,
Excuse me.
right now, there's not even a project.
Hold on, Mark.
It's not a project, you know?
Maybe the road is a rumor, but, I mean, we can set forth guidelines on wind turbines anytime we pass it, it goes to the legislature, then comes back. We can do that at any time.
We
Or the capital
certainly,
doesn't
it's
have
your
it.
prerogative, sir, but, you know, we also have an issue that's a constitutional right for personal property rights that has never been,
This right here has nothing to do with property rights.
well,
It just has to do with restrictions. I mean, everything's got restrictions. You gotta drive 55 miles an hour on the road, you know.
But it's a restriction on personal property rights. Now, why are we talking about abandoned chicken houses and the permitting of building new chicken houses, or of cattle, and so forth, or of sheds, or these abandoned, these mobile homes that are declared illegal in Georgia, and they come over here and create substandard living conditions? I'm all for permitting. I've lived in communities where to build a house, I had to have 23 building permits or inspections versus only one in this county. And I would encourage the county to adopt some very substantial building permits inclusion. But why address personal property rights just with regard to wind turbines when we're not doing it on a comprehensive basis? But again, back to the road, I don't know why it's even an issue now, because nobody's asked the road to be closed, and technically there is no wind turbine project.
Mark, Mr. Kitchenson, I've been here when I presented you with that, email that stated where the road was planned to be closed, $50,000 payment to the county. I just wanted to remind you about that. It's not just a rumor that it was planned for the road to be closed.
Why is the engineer talking about it if there hadn't been already some talk about the road closure?
You want that?
You were talking
No,
about the road
he was
closure.
just telling
You
them.
just like that.
He asked the procedure, so I told him what the procedure was for closing.
Do you want something out, from the agenda that's about, you want?
Let's just do that right there.
Okay. All right, that will be added to the agenda about, anything else? It's the one that pertains, it's identical to Cherokee County.
There's so many D. D.
All right, all minds clear, anything else on the agenda?
I don't have anything.
All right, we're dismissed. Thank you all for coming.